pretty much everybody in the room has lost someone to death, right? So death is a very real thing in our world, and we have heard many times, there was a quote, I think it was from Mark Twain. He said, the only thing we can be sure of in life is that we will die. Everything else we're not sure of, you know. What's that? Yes. So we start out with our memory verse in Romans chapter 5 and verse 12. And it reads, therefore, just as through one man sin entered the world, and death through sin, and thus death spread to all men because all sinned. So today, as we continue to study the fall of Adam and Eve, we're going to, like we started last week, we're going to look at how death got in this world and what we are going to do about it, what God has done about it, actually. So let's start like that. Here we go. So The Great Controversy, which is a book about, yes, oh, thank you. Would you do that for me? Thank you. I can't keep everything straight. Thank you. You want a stool?
Well, when you're ready to change, you
Okay,
just push this.
thank you. Okay. So the Great Controversy says, before the entrance of evil, peace and joy were in all of the universe. All was in perfect harmony. Christ was the one with the eternal Father, being one in nature, in character, and in purpose, and the only being that could enter into all of the counsels of God. So something happened that changed that, right? And let's look at John chapter 1, verses 1 through 3. Who has that? John chapter 1, verses 1 through 3. Can somebody read that for me? Thank you, Pastor Bob. And then just a moment, Colossians chapter 1, verse 16. Can I get someone to read that for me? Colossians chapter 1, verse 16. Who's going to get that for me? Jim, would you get that one for me?
What did you say?
Colossians 1, verse 16.
Okay.
And Hebrews chapter 1, verse 2. Ginger, would you get that for me? Thank you. So here's my question. Who does the Bible say was the divine agent who created the earth? Pastor Bob, what does the Bible tell us in John 1, verses 1 through 3?
It says, in the beginning was the Word. And by the way, footnote, verse 14 says, the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. So it's talking about Jesus.
Aha.
So
Thank you.
So it goes, in the beginning was the Word, Jesus, and the Word, Jesus, was with God, and Jesus, the Word, was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, Jesus, and without Jesus was not anything made that was made.
Thank you. And what does Colossians 1, verse 6 tell us?
For by him were all things created. Oh, sorry about that. For by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him.
So that's referring to who, Jim?
Referring to God.
To Jesus, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jesus, he created everything.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, whether it's governments or it's individuals or, it's like I said, dominions, principalities, it was all created and established by him.
Okay, and what does Hebrews 1, verse 2 tell us, Ginger?
Hebrews 1, verse 2.
Yes, please, thank you.
But in these last days he has spoken to us by his Son, whom he appointed heir of all things, and through whom also he made the universe.
Right, so Jesus, the one agent that was in all of the councils with God, created us and the earth, Yes? We all agree on that. The Bible says that, yeah? Okay. So what was Lucifer's reaction to Christ when he was conferred the special honor of assisting with creation? Look at page 14 in your lesson, and it's under a section called The Story of Redemption. It's in paragraph 1 in the second sentence. What was Lucifer's reaction to Jesus being conferred the special honor of being able to create? Can someone read that for me? Wayne?
It says Lucifer was envious and jealous of Jesus Christ. And that's where it all started, with self.
So Lucifer got envious of Jesus. So let's look at Revelation 12, verses 7 through 9. Who would read that for me? Revelation 12, verses 7 through 9. You're going to find this connection very interesting. Who's got it for me? Revelation 12, verses 7 through 9. Thank you, Ginger. So, go ahead.
And then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back.
So, was there sin in the universe before Adam and Eve fell in the Garden of Eden? No. Okay, so why was God warning them about temptation if there was no sin in the universe before they fell? Yes, Pastor.
Well, I think there was sin in the universe with Satan, who had fallen, and not on the
Right.
planet. And so Satan is the one who was kind of wanting to knock the door of this planet and get Adam and Eve to cave in and by his enter into rebellion with him against God.
Yeah. So very interesting, yes? I mean, God had to warn them against temptation because there was a threat out there, yes? And so he warned them very clearly. Let's look at John verse 8:44. Will somebody get that for me? And then 1 John 3 verses 8. I think you'll find this interesting. John 8:44. Ted, would you read that for me? John 8:44. And then 1 John 3:8. Francis, would you get that for me? Okay. Would somebody else? Anybody? Lori, would you read 1 John 3 verse 8 after? Okay, thank you. So we're looking right now at John verse 8 and verse 40, chapter 8 verse 44.
You are of your father the devil. The desires of your father you want to do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and that does not stand in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaks a lie, he speaks from his own resources, for he is a liar and the father of it.
Yeah, what was the very first lie recorded in the Bible? You shall not surely die. He was lying to Eve right from the very beginning. What does 1 John 3:8 tell us? What does the Bible tell us about this sinner in the universe? Thank you, Lori.
But the person who keeps on living sinfully is being influenced by the devil, because the devil has been sinning from the beginning. That's why Christ came, to break his power over us.
Yeah, so when he was cast out of heaven, Lucifer that is, what did he decide to do? And our lesson on page 14, under that same story of redemption, it's in paragraph 2. Paragraph 2. Could somebody read that? When he was cast out of heaven, what did Satan decide to do? It's page 14. It's on paragraph 2, and it talks about the story of redemption, page 27. Can somebody read that for me? From the lesson book, page 14. Wayne, would you do it again? You did it so beautifully last time. Thank you. Yeah, it's, let me see what it starts with here.
What was the question?
It starts with, having been cast out of heaven, Satan decided.
You want me to read that whole
Yes,
paragraph?
please. Thank you.
Having been cast out of heaven, Satan decided to destroy the happiness of Adam and Eve on earth and thereby cause grief in heaven. He imagined that if he could in any way beguile them, Adam and Eve, to disobey, God would make some provision whereby they might be pardoned, and then himself and all the fallen angels would be in a fair way to share with them of God's mercy.
Interesting, isn't it, that Satan was trying to save his own butt, basically?